Moving to a new place should have felt like a fresh start for Tyler. A clean slate, a new adventure. But sometimes a new home isn't just a house, it's a door to something far more sinister. And Tyler, like so many before him, would soon discover that some doors should never be opened. When Tyler first moved into the old house, on the outskirts of town, everything seemed perfect. It was quiet, tucked away from the noise of the city, with plenty of space for him to settle in. But there was one thing that caught his attention. A small room at the end of the hallway, almost hidden, tucked away like an afterthought. The room was odd, almost too small for anything to fit inside. It didn't make sense. There were no windows, no obvious purpose, just an old wooden door that creaked when he tried to open it. Tyler didn't think much of it at first, but every morning something strange happened. The room would shift, just a few inches, but enough to make him question his own sanity. The door would be in a different spot, sometimes facing a new direction, sometimes completely out of place. Each time he passed the room, the feeling of unease grew. He couldn't explain it. The room seemed alive, like it was breathing, shifting, watching him. But it wasn't until one night that Tyler decided to do something about it. Determined to put his fears to rest, Tyler took a deep breath and locked the door to the strange room. He didn't know what was causing the door to move, but he hoped that locking it would stop whatever was happening. Maybe then he could sleep peacefully. But when morning came, Tyler's heart sank. The door was gone, completely vanished, no trace of it. The hallway was empty, save for the faint marks on the floor, as if something had been dragged across it. Tyler checked every room in the house, but the door was nowhere to be found. Terrified, Tyler tried to convince himself it was just his imagination. Maybe it was stress from moving in. Maybe the house had some weird quirks. But that night, as he tried to sleep, something felt wrong. The air grew thick, heavy with something unspoken. And then as the clock struck midnight, he heard it. The softest whisper, like a breath coming from beneath his bed. At first, he thought it was the wind, but the whisper came again, closer this time. So close, it made his skin crawl. Now I'm here with you. The words sent a jolt of cold fear through his body. He froze, unable to move. The hairs on the back of his neck standing up. There was something under his bed. Something that wasn't supposed to be there. Tyler's heart raced. He slowly turned his head to look at the floor. His breath shallow. The shadows seemed to move of their own accord, twisting and writhing. They had a mind of their own. He could feel the presence, cold, oppressive, suffocating. Something was watching him. Something that had been waiting for the perfect moment to make itself known. His hand reached down, trembling towards the edge of the bed. He couldn't see anything, but he knew it was there. Something, or someone. His fingers brushed against the floorboards, and he almost screamed. The sensation was like anything he had never felt. Like cold fingers, ice cold, wrapped around his wrist, pulling him closer to the floor. Suddenly, a cold, clammy hand shot out from under the bed, grabbing his arm, with a strength that was not human. The hand was bony, twisted, its fingers impossibly long, and its grip unrelenting. Tyler tried to scream, but no sound came out. The room went black, the shadows swallowing him whole. He could feel the presence now, all around him, closing in, whispering his name over and over. And then in the pitch blackness a voice, cold and unfeeling, whispered one last thing. Now you're mine. The next morning, the room at the end of the hallway was back in its original spot. The door was there, as if nothing had ever happened. But the house was different. There was an oppressive silence, a heaviness in the air. Tyler's eyes flickered to the door one last time. The whispers began again, this time from behind the door. Louder, stronger. You should